众朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看本周的完美主义，我是主持人沈棒林思韵。今天呢，我们来到了 Hammer Museum 来看这个 artist Jimmie Durham 在美国10年内的第一个展。那接下来这个展呢，也会在美国各大主流城市巡游。所以今天呢，我们就来第一手看一下 Jimmie Durham 的这个展是怎么样的吧。
My name is Anne Elgood. I'm Senior Curator at the Hammer Museum.
Hi Anne, how are we doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good to be here. So
Thank
first,
you.
Can you give us a general overview of this exhibition that's currently going on at the Hammer?
Sure. It's a retrospective of the artist Jimmie Durham. It's called Jimmie Durham at the Center of the World, as you can see here.
Yeah.
And it's looking at the work of an American artist who was born here in 1940. He's now 76 years old. He's part Cherokee. And it's his whole career. So the earliest work in the exhibition is 1970, and the latest work is 2016, and there's about 175 pieces. So it's quite a large exhibition, really looking at his entire career.
Okay, cool. And this is the first stop?
Yes, first stop.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So let's go inside the gallery and see some of his work.
So this piece here, for example, is from Jimmie's first solo show in New York. It was at the Alternative Museum, and it's from 1984. And it's one from a group of works like these other two that you see here, in which he used animal skulls and a lot of actual animal skulls. This is called Tlun-Dotsi, which is Cherokee for panther. So all of the animals in the exhibition were named using their Cherokee name. And this is a traffic barricade, you know, just a red plastic traffic barricade. And in some cases like this one, he would actually carve the wood or use more natural materials. But for the most part, it was really thinking about how he could create the body of the animal from something that was found or that he just, you know, got off the street. So for example, on this human skull, when there's something missing from the skull because it's been broken and decaying for so long, he'll carve in wood the element that's missing. So this whole lower half of the skull, including the jaw and the teeth, is carved from wood and then added to the actual skull itself. This one's really, really beautiful because of all the drawing along the skull and then the inlay of turquoise and other stones into the actual bone, which is really quite striking, I think. Well, we were going to talk about this piece, which
it's that one.
So these are connected. So this video, you can see Jimmie, in fact, making the sculpture that's here. And, So the video is called Stoning the Refrigerator, very descriptive. He made it during a residency in France. So he was staying in the buildings that you see in the video, and he pulled this refrigerator, it's very small, this little European refrigerator, not like the American ones, into this courtyard. And for 10 mornings, every morning he went out into the courtyard and he threw cobblestones at the refrigerator. So as you can see,
continuously.
Well, yeah, for like an hour each morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So over time, he really destroyed this refrigerator. And I think for me, what's interesting about that piece is that how it changed for him over time. So when he set out to make this work, he was really interested in just how stone could be a tool. So he was thinking a lot at the time of how to use stone to alter the shape or form of something else. So, you know, when you're trained as a sculptor, as he was, he had already done a lot of carving in stone, but rather than carving the stone itself, he wanted to take the stone and use it as a tool. So the initial impulse was to destroy these, you know, commodities, these things that we all have to have, that are kind of representative of modern life. And so refrigerator seemed like a really good target. But because it's so white and so pristine, as you can see in the video, he started to feel actually really guilty as he was stoning it. He started to feel bad for the refrigerator and considered it a body of some kind. This is like Jimmie's version of Jesus, but in this case, he's a dark-skinned indigenous figure, very earthy, covered in mud, and very different than the typical kind of Jesus figures that we see in the history of Western art. Jimmie hasn't made a lot of self-portraits, but he did make a series of these photographic self-portraits.
Oh, so this is self-portrait.
Well, they are technically, but he's also really playing with that genre. Yeah. So how he titles them is, for example, this is called Self-Portrait Pretending to be Maria Teresa Alves. So Maria Teresa is his partner. She's an artist, a Brazilian artist. And so it's this idea that he's inhabiting other people, and also in many of these he will wear a mask or some kind of masquerade, so that it's not, in a way he's saying this is a self-portrait, but it's not really me. It's more, in many cases, it's more people who inspire him, people who he's close to, or that have some meaning for him. So I love this one because he loves stone so much, and it's such a primary material for him. So for him to make himself as a stone is kind of interesting.
节目就到这里结束了。今天看完这个展呢，我觉得这是近期我在洛杉矶见到的元素最多的，也是带有着异域风情的一个展，是非常特别的。那这个 Jimmie Durham 这个 artist 呢，其实他不仅是一个雕塑家，他其实呢也是一个诗人。那在这个 catalog 里面呢，收录了他60多首诗。我觉得感兴趣的朋友呢，也是可以看看这个的。那感谢您收看本周的完美主义，我是主持人佘棒林思韵，我们下周再见吧。